You see by same and
Good. Okay.
iTunes.com, no?
So we're on. So also we'll just say that this year will be, I guess, Louis Ishmat, grandmother, Bat Jamila, that Yurtzit was yesterday actually. So, but we'll say these words of Gezashan the Shnesh Matayati Yetzirah B'Sor Chaim.
Amen.
So anyway, so last week what we spoke about was we said about the white part of the beged, the talit, right? And we had a couple questions. So one of the questions was, right, the halacha tells us that you wear the mitzvah of talit, of tzitzit, actually is only by day and not by night. Okay, so the question is why? What is that? Okay, now I know the halacha tells me that. If you look in Shulchan Aruch Mishnah Berurah, it tells you that's what it is. But why is it that way? Another question that came up to us, right, was we call it a talit, but the bracha is al mitzvat tzitzit, itatev betzitzit. We don't mention the talit. So if the whole thing is called a talit, why are you mentioning tzitzit? Why is the bracha on the tzitzit? It should be al mitzvat talit, itatev be. You're not wrapping yourself in the tzitzit. You're wrapping yourself in the white part, in the beged talit. So why do you make the bracha on the talit, on the tzitzit? Okay, that was another question. So we started. So again, just briefly speaking, we said that the Adam Rishon, right? Adam before the sin was one type of guy, and after the sin he was a similar type of guy, but not with the same koach, not with the same powers, not with the same strength. Right before the sin, right? What was we said like, and we spoke this many times before, and again, these words are going to be necessary that we should know the vocabulary, because when we're going to read the Ben Ish Chai, this way, when I'm going to read it to you, you're going to say, oh, I already know what that concept is and that concept is. You're going to hear a lot of words, and when you're going to see them in here, you're going to say, oh, I already know what those words are, so it makes sense. So we said that there's a concept called chashmal, right? And we said, no, we know, okay, in Hebrew it means electricity, but that's not what we're talking about, right? So we said, let's take apart the word. All these words have to be taken apart. We take it apart, we break them apart, and we figure out what's the essence, what's the meaning of the word. So the word chashmal is comprised of two words, right? We said chash and mal, right? Chash means quiet, like shh, chash. And mal comes from the root of the word, like mal means to circumcise, mal, right? From brit milah, mal. So the idea was that physicality was going to hide inside of it a spiritual message. And how are you going to get it out? You're going to have to circumcise, as it were, circumcise the physicality. If you circumcise physicality, what do you get? You get the spiritual message, right? It was easy, and we spoke about it in length that Adam actually was able to do that like this, click of the fingers, right? We said that he named all of the animals. How did he name all the animals? How did he know the names, right? How did he know that a giraffe is called giraffe, a lion is called aryeh? How did he know these names? So we said that if we were naming them, right, we would call it anything. But when he was calling them, he wasn't calling them based on what he saw down here, but he was calling them based on what they are upstairs. Okay? So when he looked at something down here in the physicality, he already understood what its source was in the spiritual realm. Okay? Good. That was before the sin. Right? That's when his eyes were able to see only good. What happened was, after they ate, right, he lost this level, and now he became clothed in what's called a malbush. Okay, so we said, remember last week we said that the just so you know, the word chashmal and the word malbush actually share the same numerical value, 378, which tells us already that the mission stays the same mission. The mission is still to remove from the physicality a message. And later on, tonight, we will discuss why this is so important. Why do we always mentioning remove the physicality and find a message. Remove the physicality and find a message. It's a very important thing. We said that if one understands the mitzvah of tzitzit, actually, right, we said that tzitzit is the foundation of all the mitzvot. That's why it says, Uritem moto, and you will see them, the tzitzit, and you will remember. That's right, so we said last week, not that you're going to remember when you're going to look at one of the strings, you say, oh, this string resembles challah, this string resembles matzot. No. Not that the strings resemble a mitzvah in and of themselves. They represent the reason behind the mitzvot. If you understand tzitzit, you will already understand why there's physicality, you will understand why there's mitzvot. Okay? And you will understand actually what's man's mission in the world. Okay, so we said malbush. Malbush, right, came from two words. Mal. We know what the word mal means, which we just had. That means to circumcise. But what's bush? Bush comes from the word bosh, busha. Busha is embarrassment. So we said, on one hand, right, he was embarrassed, he had busha, because he sinned, right? If a person sinned, right, it's like, right, a person's doing a favor for somebody, and as he's receiving the favor, he's spitting in the guy's face. Okay? He was embarrassed that he did this sin. He was in the house of the king. He received all the king's good things, and he took it and ate and spit back in the king's face. He didn't appreciate. So he was embarrassed. When the situation came to light, he was embarrassed that it happened. Okay, that's bush. That's bush. But then we explained, and now we're going to go into the tzizit. Okay, and again, we cut out the whole story about the talit gadol, talit katan. You can hear it online. What's the difference between the talit gadol, the talit katan, and we said again that the talit gadol represents, again, both of these represent how do we perceive Hashem. The talit gadol represents the time when we are what's called a big boy, a grown up. So when a person is grown up, he has more intellect, he has more brains, right? And he's able to understand things. One of the things that a grown up or a child can understand, that a fetus or a baby cannot understand, is the word love. When the child is in the womb, he doesn't know what love means. All he knows is feed me. He knows the mother is the source of his life. He doesn't know anything more than that. He likes the mother and loves the mother in terms of she's the one who feeds me, but he doesn't love the mother because he doesn't know what love means. Uvdad, what's the proof? If the baby is angry, he'll scream at the mother. He doesn't care. He wants the food now. And the mother is sitting there, she's trying to get the food ready, and she's trying to get the food ready, and the baby's screaming and yelling, oh. If the baby understood that she loves him, he understood, okay, then I'm making the food. Wait, calm down. But Mashenke, when the child is grown up, he's able to receive the love and understand it, because now he has sechel, he has brains, and he's also able to be emotionally connected because now he has a lev. So that represents the two levels of. So that represents the two levels. The one level of small baby fetus is called talit katan. Right? That's why it's worn underneath your clothes, because it's a type of love that you don't see, you don't comprehend, you don't really realize it. And the talit gadol, why is it wraps around you? Because that's the mother's love that you understand. You're beginning to draw it in. Right? Okay. Again, that's in brief. But now we're going to concentrate on the word busha. Okay. We said that. When Hashem wanted to create the world, He wanted to what's called bestow, to give upon the world the greatest good that can be received. But now, how do you give someone the greatest good, right? So we said like this: if I have $1 million, and actually the Chuvot HaLevavot in the chapter of Sha'ar Bina, Sha'ar Bechina. Bechina means reflection. In the beginning of this chapter, he opens up with a mashal, a parable. He says, a guy had a boy that he rescued as an infant from death, and he raised the boy in his house, and he gave the boy, all the riches in the world. And he noticed, of course, the boy became spoiled. The boy didn't appreciate anything. The boy, it's not his son. It's not his son. But the boy was a baby when he came in, and as he grew up, this is all he knew. He knew it. He receives, and receives. The man also, many years pass, and there's a guy who is captured in a prison. So the rich man, bonds him out and brings him home and clothes him and feeds him. And you should see how this prisoner thanks him. Oh, thank you, and you don't understand how much I love you. Now the rich man is thinking, he's saying, wait a minute. The boy who I brought in all these years, he eats on my plate, he looks at me, he doesn't even care. The guy who I just brought in, who was in the trouble and was in pain, I just brought him in for 2 minutes, all of a sudden he's thanking me like I'm his hero. Well, how is this? Again, we understand, because appreciation. When you spoon feed someone something, there's no appreciation. They have no way to connect to it. So, we said another example, that if a poor person is sitting on if a poor person is sitting outside and he's starving, right? And we say, okay, he's starving. Let's give him some food. So what do? We're very nice. We bring him into the table and we let him sit next to all of the noblemen. And he's sitting there in his rags, torn rags, and he's sitting, and everyone's eating the food, nicely with the fork and spoon. And he's sitting there and he's getting a plate. And he looks at the plate. He doesn't know how to eat it. He's embarrassed. He's even sitting next to these high people. He's embarrassed. And every time he eats the food, he's like he wants to choke on it just to die and not to be embarrassed, continue to be embarrassed. So the question is, what good did the rich man just give to him? Yeah, he brought him in and he gave him food. But the poor man was on a level where he couldn't accept the goodness. He couldn't receive it. He was so embarrassed that he's sitting next to these high noblemen and he has to receive free food. We said again that if anyone, well, we should know for such things, but if anyone ever has to ask for money from someone, that's the worst embarrassment a person can have. Because your dignity is out the window. You're nothing. And this guy, you're putting all of this, you're making this person who you're asking from, so high. And the guy who's asking for the money is so low. It's worse than death. So that's how Adam HaRishon felt when he was going to get any good in this world. Because he didn't earn it. He doesn't deserve it. In fact, what does he deserve? He deserves a slap in the face. Hashem gave him one commandment and he messed up. One commandment, he messed up. So Hashem now had to create a way that Adam HaRishon would earn the good. Okay? Now again, Hashem wants to create a world and he wants to give into the world the best good. But he realized, again, I'm using fake words. God didn't realize nothing. God knew what he was doing. And he's giving it to you in a story form. For the receiver to receive this good, he would have to have some way to earn it. Or else he would be so embarrassed when he would receive it, he would be worse than death. This is what's called in the Lashon of the Gemara and in the Lashon of the Zohar, Nahama dechsufa. Nahama means bread, and dechsufa means embarrassment. So maybe you will see these words later on. You will see whenever anyone's talking about bread of embarrassment, it means we don't like freebies. This is what it says in the Gemara. Again, a lot of times we're bringing in other things, but you should know that every concept is tied to a concept. It says, Hasoneh matanot yichyeh. What are you talking about? Why? What's so bad about matana? What's so bad about matana? If you soneh matana yichyeh, why? So now we understand. Because what's it referring to? If he hates matana, he's going to have to earn it. He's going to want to do mitzvot in order to get the good, because that's how he's going to receive it. Avia last week he said that the Gemara actually brings down that what is the highest form of tzedakah? It's not giving $1 million, giving someone a job. Why? How did the Gemara come up with this idea? Where did they come up with this idea? They came up with this because they followed the Kadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought into the world 613 mitzvot for what reason? So that the person would earn the good that he's going to receive. They said, that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. Then how can we create a person? How are we going to make a person alive? Give him a livelihood. That's the best tzedakah. Okay. Now we're going to discuss the word tzedakah. Again, we're going to do concept, and then let's tie them together. Like you said, tonight we're going to discuss only the strings. There's a lot to discuss about the strings, but only the strings. Because as a precursor, we said the whole point of the talit is not the talit, it's the tzizit. That's why we make the bracha on mitzvah tzizit, or litatef be tzizit. We don't say litatef ba talit, which is what we're doing, because the whole purpose of a talit is the tzizit. In fact, that's, again, we're always referring to halakha. These shurim are not, we didn't get to the point where we're doing the halakha yet. We should know that the point of these shurim is to supplement the halakha.